Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. That'd be a first for me.
All right, first on the agenda, Attorney Shipman.
Hi, I have a couple of things just to kind of update everyone on. I have reviewed a lot of documents that are up on the agenda. Becky's whole packet for you today that I did look at. We also have, it's the interlocal agreement with Larwell. You guys seen that? I did look at that and I think that's fine. Brandon and I talked about that actually this morning at Drainage Board, and potentially there's a path that he and or I are going to explore to maybe just turn this road over to Larwell. It probably should be. It's the boundary of the road, and because of their annex, potentially should be a Larwell road anyway. But just in case, this is important so that they can get the funding to have in place. I did hear an update that hopefully later today I'll find out potential tax implications on the Armstrong property we're looking to purchase, and then we'll have the ability to report that. And we did send out last week, as commissioners know, a letter to Mercury Wireless, just letting them know that there are some issues with the agreement that we expect them to uphold that haven't thus far been upheld. So unless you guys have questions necessarily for me.
So the interlocal agreement you looked over and it looked okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's really pretty basic. It just allows, I think the idea is, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Brandon's going to apply for the funds because under NDOT's registry, it shows it's an NDOT road, but ultimately then this allows them to, to be able to maintain it. So.
Okay. I don't have any questions right now for you.
No, me neither.
If you're inclined to approve that, it does look like it's set up to be for George's signature. So we just need to make a motion to amend to have it set up for Teresa to sign if you decide to do it. So.
And George will be back tomorrow. Would it be okay if he signed it then, or does it need signed
today? Yeah, as long as you
today?
approve it today for George's signature. That
Okay.
I didn't miss anything on that, Brandon, necessarily.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Matt. Next item on the agenda is the interlocal agreement for the road improvement with the town of Larwell. I've looked it over and I don't have any questions on it. Do you?
No, I don't have any issue with it. I would move that we approve the interlocal agreement for road improvement and allow for Commissioner Schrumpf as the chairman to sign that when he returns.
Okay, I'll go ahead and second that. So we'll have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Nathan, for Red Star rezoning certification.
Good afternoon. You should have before you an ordinance and certification for the rezoning request for Red Star. Red Star, located north of Larwell, is looking to expand. They've been looking to expand for a while, and now they've optioned a piece of ground to the south. Went through rezoning hearing at Plan Commission, rezoning from AG to IPM, Industrial Park Manufacturing. Got a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission. I believe the vote was 8-0. This would leave out the house that is currently located with the parcel that they're buying. They long-term, last I heard, would be to sell that house off separately. It's going to be on sewer sooner rather than later, so it makes sense for them just to sell it off. It doesn't really add much to their overall property. So this rezoning would exclude that. but would take in the rest of the approximately 10 acres of the site. I believe, Jana, you've got a copy of the ordinance behind it.
Is there an ordinance number?
2021-05.
Well, to me, this makes sense, and I would concur with the recommendation of the Plan Commission. With that being said, I would move that we approve 2021-05.
And I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hands. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda. Nathan, was that all you had right now?
I'll let you have questions for me.
I don't have any.
I'll have contract next time. I guess we can-
Okay, thank you. Becky Salaway. Authorizing resolution and agreements.
I have quite a number of papers for you to sign today. I think you received them all by email last week, and they hopefully had a chance to review them. They are for our 2022 grant funds from NDOT. So the operating funds are $314,813. With PMTF funds, state funds is $85,116. We are required a 50% match from 314, 816, 85 of that is the state can, the PMTF funds can be used as a match for that. So the remainder is coming from other grant sources and fairs, which we will now be able to apply. You know, haven't had those available to us this entire year. But we will have them back again starting in January of 2022. So the authorizing resolution is the, I don't know what order they were, that you guys received them in, but the authorizing resolution, I'll just go over that quickly. If you are giving me the authority to submit the grant to request those funds. So I am doing that on behalf of the county commissioners. And so that is the authorizing resolution. It's just a single page.
Yeah. Is there a resolution number for this?
I don't have one on mine.
I move that we approve 2021-03.
It's in 4, sorry, never mind.
I rescind that and move that we approve 2021-04 authorizing resolution.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'm gonna leave the pages down here and just pass them down when we get them all. Is that okay?
Sure.
The next one is the local financial assurance. That is in regards to our match. We have to have a 20% match on any additional funds that we receive for vehicles. The 50% match on NDOT operation grants, and it's a 20% match on van costs and that sort of thing. So this is basically just saying that we'll come up with the match. So, and I know that the commissioners have always been really generous in helping us meet that match. I believe it's 40,000. We were given a little bit additional for this year because our PMTF state funds were rescinded because of COVID. And in order to make our match on our vans, which are coming in October for this year, there was a little bit of extra this year to make up that difference. But I think we'll be back on an even footing with the new law next year in terms of the grants, NDOT grants and the purchase of vehicles. as I said, we did get 85,000, a little more in PMTF funds for next year for matching.
Great.
So there is a little bit of an increase in that. I know we've talked to commissioners about trying to raise the base pay for our drivers. We were at $9, and that's less than McDonald's, so it's really hard to get drivers. So the commissioners had helped us out with a little bit of extra funds, and NDOT has also kicked in. So I believe we got 80,000 in 2019. It's a little bit hard to pull those numbers back, but anyway. So they did give us a little bit more there on the PMTF funds as well as the NDOT operation funds in order to maintain a higher start rate. And we did just move that to $12 an hour. So.
Good. Well, I move that we approve the local financial assurances.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion?
It looks like these are single signature documents, so or if you want to sign them, you need them today, don't you? We should probably have the vice chair sign them.
I think she's fine to sign it.
Yeah, as long as you're okay with that, Teresa, then maybe have them.
Yeah.
For the
So
vice to sign.
I don't have to submit till Friday, but the sooner I get it submitted, the more sleep I get between now and then.
I get it.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I can probably
No,
make
thank you.
that.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And the next one is the categorical exclusion verification of capital projects checklist. And NDOT loves this kind of paperwork, and here's yet another one where we're signing that, the commissioners are signing, and I also sign this in another form, that we understand what this money is to be used for, whatever we purchase with that money, what we understand it can be used for or cannot be used for. So it's basically just an understanding of what the equipment will be used for once it arrives, or the operational funds that it's exclusively for transit. So that is the exclusion clarification.
It looks like you have two of these checked. Are the two that are checked specifically what you're asking for the funding for?
Yes, we have, there are two parts. One is for operations, which is staff, and the other is capital. And we have asked for two vehicles in 2022, a minivan and a mid-sized transit van. And again, that's that 80-20 match. So that's what we're asking for in this grant. It's highly likely that we will receive it. We haven't been denied in our requests in the past. So that's what I'm basing it on. The other part of that is there is some additional capital funding available for equipment purchases. This is, NDOT had some extra money, and so they kind of threw this out at the last minute to see if there were any capital improvements in equipment that we were interested in obtaining, that we could also ask for that as part of this grant. So in this case, it does cover more than just the vehicles. Usually that's just it, but this year we're asking for some sanitation equipment, some like big fans for the garage to keep it cool. It gets really hot in there in the summer. We're asking for all of the vans have video surveillance cameras. The problem is once they're in the van, you have to pay someone to take them out of the van once you get in the new van and then put it in the next van. And so that actually turns out to be quite a lot of money, about $8,000 for us to uninstall and reinstall those cameras. And so that is one thing we're asking for under the capital equipment grant.
Okay,
Great. I move that we approve the categorical exclusion classification of capital projects checklist. That's a mouthful.
Yes.
And that we would allow Vice Chair Commissioner Green to sign.
second. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anything else?
Oh, I have lots more, I'm sorry.
Lots more?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I have the certification of use of project equipment and facilities, which sort of relates to what we were just talking about. That when we do receive that equipment, if we are given those grant funds, it'll only be used for transit.
Okay. And I don't know that we
I
have
don't
that one.
have that.
I don't think that's something that I've had a chance to look at.
It should have all been in that same email. There were 8 documents in the email.
It is
There
one
was a
that I
lot.
have seen.
I was gonna say, I think
Literally just 2 sentences, but it just says, I certify the project equipment, facilities, and property purchased with federal transit funding continues to be used in accordance with the terms and conditions of the applicable capital and operating grant agreements, and no part of the local contribution has been refunded or reduced. I'm assuming that that is correct for the.
All right, well, I move that we approve the certification of use of project equipment and facilities and allow for Vice Chair Commissioner Green to sign in George's absence.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Did you receive, because these 3 are the biggest of them. One is the pass-through agreement. Did you receive that, Matt?
Have the pass-through, the legal warranty, and the certifications, all 3 still.
Okay.
And I have reviewed them, but
Okay.
I'm not sure if commissioners have. And they are the same. for all the year.
That's,
I actually have these.
Yeah, that's the special warranty with and through that.
so this is all,
That's this.
Yeah.
And then there's the pass-through agreement, which is the agreement between the Whitley County Transit and the county commissioners. So what happens is I do the paperwork and fill out the voucher information to claim the funds 4 times a year. I'm allowed to do the claim the grant funds. Those grant funds are sent to you, to the county commissioners, and then you release them to me. So you are the pass-through on that, and this is, so the special warranty agreement is that one, and the pass-through agreement is just saying that that relationship basically still stands and that you're willing to provide that service of being a pass-through for those funds. And the last one is, again, this is a very long document, and it's basically telling you the basics of it, Matt, don't you think are just that, again, it's a compliance thing with.
Yeah, you'll comply with every federal law, every,
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
20 pages of assurances that we're not just transactions with a ring in it.
Yeah,
It's the, federal money.
it's in regards to, how the use and handling of federal funds. So not as it applies to Indiana Department of Transportation, but just in general, use of federal funds. So those are the 3 other ones that I have here for signature. And as Matt says, these are,
Yeah, literally, but for the day, I didn't audit it word for word, but having reviewed them several years now, they are the same. They just changed the year.
same thing every year.
okay, so what do we have pending? And we have the pass-through document,
We have a pass-through.
the labor warranty.
The special warranty agreement and the certification and assurances. It's like buying a house. This year it seems to be a lot more, I don't know, do you think so too, Matt? Did I send you more papers or?
No, I think it's the same. And they're all set up for one signature. I do have to sign the pass-through agreement as well. So
You have to sign the pass-through, and I thought, Jan, I think you have to sign, was it the resolution? Yeah. Authorizing resolution, I think is really.
Okay.
It asks for the recording officer.
So I would like to make a motion that we approve the pass-through agreement, the special warranty assurances, and the certification and assurances, and allow for the vice chairman to sign documents as well as attorney Shipman, and if needed, auditor Janice Schembeck.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And thank you, Matt, for taking the time to go through those. And thank you, Becky, for being patient with us while we got through it. But
Everything you need to sign this.
That's the one. Here it is, dear. These are the rest of those. We are about, just as a little report, we're waiting for the signature. We are about back to normal as far as the transit is concerned. As far as the monthly numbers. The meal program is still streaming. Our average has jumped up by 50 or 60 meals a day since COVID, and it's kind of holding there. So that's pretty exciting. I mean, if we're able to see a lot of people. We do have openings as for drivers. If you know of anyone who wants to be a driver, we're in desperate shape for them. We also have an opening in the kitchen for a kitchen assistant and an activity assistant. So it's been very challenging to do new hires. I don't think anybody who's looking for an employee is having any different life than we are having. Nope. So we did get 2 applications for drivers though in last week, so we're really hopeful. We're having some of the drivers are doing as much as 10 or 15 hours of overtime every week because we just don't have enough people. But it's going good. We're having a carnival next Friday. If anybody wants to come and have a hot dog with us, come on over.
is that during the day or in the evening?
Lunchtime.
Okay.
Lunchtime, which is a little bit early. Okay. So we'll be having carnival games and it's sort of our welcome back to the center. We've been open since.
Did you resign that one?
But that off so we could get a few more people. And we're looking at, I think the count was 60 when I left today, and we're thinking maybe as many as 100 outside of the bus stop, out of fresh air blowing around. So.
Yeah, good.
So,
great.
if you're free, come see us.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Trying to get all these squared away.
I forgot one. Recording officers and video.
Well, when he read it, it says right there.
Are you guys still holding on charging fares for transit?
We
And then
started
this is
that in
payable and
January,
it's
charging fares. However, because of the CARES Act grant, we can collect the fares, but we can't spend the fares. So they are currently being held in the reserve account. So all of the funds are waiting. Once we get to January of 2022, they're going to tell us what we can do.
Yep.
So right now they're just sitting. So
Sure.
but I think it really was helpful to give that 6 months and then know, free time period.
Yep.
It's really helpful. And especially
Absolutely.
for school kids, we have an awful lot of school children that we transport. So I think it's just to help people get on Hope West. That was the plan anyway. So and in a couple of weeks, our census will drop a little bit because school will be out. So it starts to be a little bit of a slower time for us in the future. After all the hubbub of this spring will be good for a little retrain to regather and maybe hopefully hire a few more drivers and be set for fall when it comes in.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Service providers. Okay. Did you get them all?
I think so.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
very much.
Next item on the agenda, ordinance establishing Whitley County as a constitutional sanctuary county.
Is there someone here who's presenting on this? Can you come forward and introduce yourself? A lot of times it's hard to hear if you're watching the video later, so if you could just speak into the mic, that'd be wonderful.
Can you tell us your name as well?
My name is Matthew Shoda, and I've got some documents. And with the commission's permission, I would like to give Chairman Scrumps to
Yep.
Attorney Whitley.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in this package of information, you'll see that there is a couple resolutions and ordinances from our surrounding counties, Kosciuszko and Huntington. Just a brief overview. Resolution 2012-22-001. Basically, that one establishes the county as maintaining and withholding the current amendments and Bill of Rights to the Indiana State Constitution and the United States Constitution. There is a follow-along to that, which is the ordinance number 2012-22-001, which puts it into law that the amendments to the Constitution itself, and the Indiana State Constitution, and each one of the subsections under Article 1 be withheld as they are currently written. The reason that the sanctuary counties are really starting to look into this is due to a climate with the current protests, be it peaceful or not peaceful, certain rights that were limited during the pandemic, and then HR 1, which has been proposed by the House of Representatives, limiting the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment. So these two documents here establish Kosciuszko County as a constitutional sanctuary county, to the point where it would be to the commission to decide on any future amendments to the Constitution or laws that would regulate those amendments, to decide whether or not they are applicable to our county and whether or not the county would follow those new laws or maintain with the existing law. Now, there are two other documents that follow this. The next one from Kosciuszko County is 2104-27-001, where this document only deals with the Second Amendment and with Section 32 of Article 1 of the Indiana State Constitution. Though this really lays out in detail things that the county, the Kosciuszko County wants to withhold or wants to maintain on the Second Amendment, it's not 100% necessary with the resolution and ordinance that was proposed in 2020. So I guess with that one, it's not something that I believe that Kosciuszko County needed to have had their resolution and ordinance been written properly. There are some errors that I found in those two documents with certain citations that they made. And And then the very next document is the Huntington County Board of Commissioners and their Second Amendment sanctuary. So Huntington County has proposed has put its law or resolution establishing their county as only a Second Amendment sanctuary county. It deals with no other amendments or sections of the Indiana State Constitution. Though it is extremely detailed and very tough on any future changes to the Second Amendment, again, it only protects one amendment, one right, where the other ordinance and resolution from Kosciuszko County in 2020 lays the groundwork for maintaining the rights of all of the constituents of Whitley County. And then the only other document that I added was the Article 1 of the Indiana State Constitution. And I mainly added that because of the missed citations in the Kosciuszko. I believe they cited the right to own firearms and self-protection as Section 20. And that was from the 1817 Constitution. It has since been amended and changed. It's now the Section 32. And that basically, it is cut and dry for the state of Indiana. It's, the people shall have the right to bear arms for the defense of themselves and the state. That versus the Second Amendment, which has thrown so many questions in the air on how it was written. It's, for the purpose of securing a state, people have the right to bear arms, or if it's two separate statements. Indiana State Constitution lays it out that it is for protection of yourself and the state. So those are the documents that I bring to the commission. I also gave a copy to Sheriff Gatton, as anything that would be passed through the Board of Commissioners would directly affect him as well.
Well, I appreciate it. It looks like, obviously you put a lot of time into this, and this is something that I care about. I join in your concern, and it is something that I hope ultimately we pass. But I do want to work directly with the sheriff. I want to work directly with the prosecuting attorney and the judges of Whitley County, and I want to make sure we get it right, that we don't come back and approve multiple documents. I want to make sure we get it right, that we do it well. And that's really all I have to say. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just to reiterate what Commissioner Banks said, I definitely believe in the Constitution, all of that. However, we do need to work with our sheriff and
Absolutely.
other people in the community and our attorney. So this is definitely something that we will have on the agenda at a later date. So thank you for coming and presenting.
I did want to add one thing for myself. I was a paralegal in the U.S. Army for 10 years. And if Attorney Shipman would like any, he probably doesn't really need assistance, but any ideas or thoughts on how to, put together an ordinance where we don't have to have so many documents, I'd be willing to volunteer my time for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We do. I think the timing is right, and I think that it's something that needs to happen. So I'm in favor. I just want to make sure we get it right. So with that being said, I would move that we table the discussion until I would like to see something happen sooner rather than later. I'm not going to say next meeting. I'm just going to say I move that we table.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Brandon, Highway Department update.
Just real briefly, I don't know if anyone else is following HR 127, but it is on the House Committee on the Judiciary's agenda for Thursday. And it's it says, "An unending crisis, essential steps to reducing gun violence and mass shootings." So, HR 127. Regarding the Larwell thing, I did send an email to the last person that I had as contact for road inventory just this morning, so I did do that, try and get that transferred. Community crossings, we are advertising this Wednesday and next Wednesday for a bid opening for our community crossings paving project at your next meeting. Chad came down to the office and spent probably a couple of grueling hours with Kevin and I going through the process that we have gone through to come up with a road program for this year. What we found is materials are more expensive than last year. And what we weren't hoping for, but some of our roads were in a little worse condition. We have found that we're wanting to try a different material based on performance of the material that we've been using for the last few years. It seems the last couple of years, maybe the performance is a little different. So we want to switch our liquid asphalt material up, which of course is more expensive, but you get what you pay for. And so right now we're looking at chip seal and 57 centerline miles. I believe about 11 or 12 of those miles are double seal, so they're cracked up bad enough. We've seen a better performance with a double seal. And then I don't have a mileage on this, but quite a bit of that we're going to do what we call a wedge and seal, and some of these roads are really rough, and so we'll lay down some cold mix and then chip seal over that, try and smooth some of these roads up. It won't be paving. We will have the 10 miles of community crossings for paving that will make those roads also smoother. So in preparation for that, we're continuing to work on drainage, replace culverts. We finally got a load of culverts. Culverts were in short order there for a while, and prices went up significantly. We've got culverts back in stock, 12-inch specifically. We're doing some berming and some filling along the edges. The filling, Kevin told me this morning there was one spot that we'll probably have to put a foot of material in there to level it up. It's got that big of a dip in it. Regarding the material, there was one of our guys brought an article from the Fort Wayne paper, I believe, letter to the editor, someone questioning some chip seal roads and their performance. So we're gonna, sometime this week, go look at their roads and see if they're experiencing the same problems that we have seen, see what materials they're using. We're able to start purchasing some 11s, which is our top coat limestone for chip seal. We were on hold purchasing for a while, but last week we started getting some of those stock out of the stockpile, 4,000 or 5,000 tons of that material.
I don't have any questions.
Thank you, Brandon, for all that you're doing. I know there's a lot going on with the road plan, but thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a facilities request from Teresa Dow for the Elks Lodge. And it is for June 19th, 2021 for the Flag Day ceremony. And this is the same ceremony that they hold every year. And it will be held at the north side of the county courthouse at 11 a.m.
I move that we approve it.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Payroll and accounts payable claims. I went through everything this morning and everything seemed to be in order.
I Make a motion that we approve payroll and accounts payable claims.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And I do not have a copy of the minutes in my, thank you. Did you want to look at the minutes?
I've had a chance to review the minutes and didn't find any error. I move that we approve them as presented.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I don't have anything else to add right now. Do you, Commissioner Banks?
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay, then we will be adjourned.